Hey guys, welcome back to another Rocket League video. In this one, we're going to be talking about 3v3 kickoffs, and more specifically, the different roles of each player on kickoff, and how to identify what you should do based on where you spawn. There's a few different variations in where players will spawn. The opposing team's kickoff spawns always are the same as yours, and we'll jump into each different variation and talk about what you should do. Alright, before we get into that, we're going to be doing our warm-up for this video, and that's going to be something that's a part of my personal warm-up routine. We'll most likely do a video in the future about the composition of a successful warm-up routine, but for now we'll just be in this training pack that I really like to use for 5 to 10 minutes. Remember that even if we get on the game with positioning in mind, we always want to practice mechanics every time we get on, even if it's just a tiny amount of free play or a training pack. Before anything, there is one thing that we must first establish, and that is the fact that if two players spawn closest to the ball like you see in the image here, and a player doesn't quick chat specifically "I got it," the player on the left-hand side will always go for the ball. This is an unwritten rule and is followed by 99.9% of the player base, so just remember that whenever you spawn closest to the ball on the left side, be prepared to go for the kickoff. Alright, here we're going to be talking about an example where two players go for the same kickoff. You might be thinking, well, you said only one person goes for kickoff, so what happens when both people go for kickoff? Well, we're about to look at the consequences right here, and you can see that on this kickoff, me and my teammate end up going for the same kickoff, and we'll go into FlyCam to illustrate this a little bit better. What you can see is me and my teammate both end up going for the same kickoff, and what happens as a result is our teammate here is immediately left in a very dire situation. There's an awkward bounce, and he's all alone in front of our net. You can see I'm at midfield. Our other teammate that double committed on kickoff is upfield, and there's nobody back to help our teammate, and that is a really good illustration of what happens when you're not doing your job correctly on kickoff. Situations like this can arise, and just to go ahead and illustrate this even more for you guys, what we're going to do is illustrate all the open space that there is on our side of the field solely based on this. You can see there's this huge box and it's only one of our players defending. Both of our players are actually pretty much across midfield at this point, which is really bad. And also what you guys can see, and we're going to talk about this in a future example, and what you guys are going to see is the consequences of not cheating. So what you're going to see here is actually that the other team did not designate someone to cheat on kickoff. That's something that we talked about. And as a result, they weren't able to capitalize on this situation that we just went over. But we'll talk about that a little more specifically later in the video. Now you're probably thinking, well, if one player is going for the ball, then what did the two other players do? To answer that, there are two more roles that need to be filled on kickoff. One person will be designated to cheat, which means slowly driving towards the ball behind the person going for kickoff. We do this because you have to remember that when two players hit the ball at the same time, which is called a 50-50, there's a strong possibility that the ball will stall somewhere in the middle of the field after the kickoff. So we want to have another player ready to follow it up. Finally, our last player will want to go for either corner boost depending on where they spawn, and this is because one player is already going for kickoff, the other trailing behind to support, so our best use of this time here as the last player is to simply fill up our boost tank. Alright, now we're going to talk about what happens when a player doesn't cheat and how those consequences can manifest on kickoff. So here we can see that orange team scores right here, kickoff spawns, and KG is the player that is supposed to cheat right here. This is our pyramid formation, and what happens here is KG's controller disconnects. I remember when this exactly happened, so he wasn't able to cheat for kickoff. And you guys can see that when the ball shoots to the left wall here, there's a huge gap, obviously, and blue team just immediately takes possession, and they're already firing shots on our net, and kickoff just happened. So this is the main reason why you want someone to cheat, is so there's not a gap in midfield after the 50-50, right? And to illustrate this better, guys, right? What should have happened right here when this 50-50 happens, if KG, his controller hadn't disconnected, right? Let's say he had it cheated. He'd be somewhere about here right now, and as this ball comes back off the wall when it bounces, he's going to be in a perfect position to go challenge this for our team. There are 3 different variations in the way players will spawn on kickoff. The first spawn is what I like to call the pyramid spawn, because 2 players spawn close to midfield and 1 person back, forming a triangle shape. Here, the person on the left goes for kickoff, the person furthest back will cheat up, and the right side player closest to the ball will turn around and go for that side's corner boost. The next type of kickoff spawn is 1 player up and 2 players back. Here, the player closest goes for kickoff, the player on the same side as the kickoff player will go back for the corner boost, and the other player will cheat. The final variation here is where all 3 players will spawn in front of their net, 1 player spawning behind the other 2. Here, left goes for kickoff, the furthest back player will cheat, and the other player will go for corner boost. Alright, what we're going to do here, guys, is we're going to test our knowledge now of kickoffs, and we're going to take a 5-second pause right here, and you're going to label each position, so that's going to be whoever goes for kickoff, whoever cheats, and whoever goes for boost. We're going to take a 5-second pause right now, and you're going to see if you can get it. Alright, 5 seconds is up. So the answer for this one is our player Bull right here is going to go for kickoff. Our player Yelito right here is actually going to go for the corner boost on the same side, which is the left side. And then finally back here, which is little old me, what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to cheat up on kickoff. Alright, here's our second example. You guys are going to go ahead and take a look, try and label each position. We're going to take a 5-second pause and come back. Alright, so in this example, we can see that we kind of have the triangle spawn. Infinity and Ultor both spawn the same distance from the ball, so left goes is going to apply right here, and Ultor will go for the kickoff. Infinity is going to go back for this corner boost and grab this one. And then finally, our last player down here, Braywood, he's going to trail up and cheat on kickoff. Thanks for watching, everyone. Make sure to leave a comment below, and I'll see you in the next video.